Everything that you do in your day-to-day life has an impact on the planet, from the food you eat to the car that you drive, from plastic bag recycling to the treatment of chemical products. People are trying to come up with new and useful ways that are sustainable and useful to go green. Every little change matters. Small daily choices have a big impact. Get started in small steps by focusing on choices related to daily activities and products. I am so happy to be in conversation today with all of you moms who are raising the next generation of mini planeteers and a change maker, celebrated actor, and philanthropist, Alia Bhatt, who has launched her own conscious clothing apparel brand for children, Edamama. We're super excited to talk to her about it. She's also been very vocal and passionate about wanting to inculcate good habits and encourage children to adopt environment-first practices, kindness towards animals, and make better choices. I think we should hear it from the lady herself, Alia Bhatt.
Honestly, I really want to first start by thanking all you guys for joining me today. I know it's a Sunday. I know you probably have major plans to hang with the fam and the babies. But honestly, it's quite exciting to spill the beans and get to know you guys better. And I see some familiar faces as well. Chinu, I just want to be where you are right now. Your location looks too tempting. Deepali, Jane, hello. How are you guys? Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. I'm sure you all are wondering why you're here talking to me and, why it is so important to me to discuss raising a conscious generation. I guess I'm just keen on a kinder tomorrow. It's what makes me curious to know what we can do to make that happen today. And I always come back to the fact that I am who I am because of my parents, because of my family, because of the values that were instilled in me as a child. I most definitely do not claim to be perfect. There's a lot that I've had to learn and unlearn along the way. Really now, if you think about it, it just comes down to creating behavior, because we all know that creating behavior is much easier than just changing it years later, which is why I started Edamama. I wanted to nurture a love for nature, for our planet in children, because children will take care of what they love. And of course, most definitely, we do not want to be all preachy and boring. We want children to have fun, be wild, just have adventures of a lifetime and just be free. So each of you present today, that's the reason that we've all gotten together, because each of you present today share this philosophy. So basically, I'm here to listen to you. This is all the talking I'm going to do. I'm going to be the interviewer. I'm going to be interviewing y'all. Which is actually quite exciting for me, because usually I don't get to do this. So now y'all are on the hot seat and the questions are for you and answers are for me to listen to, learn from, and then hopefully kind of bring about in my life as well. Chino, I think maybe I'm starting with you because I'm really hungry.
Hi, Alia. Sorry, I'm actually on the beach, so it's a little loud. I hope it's okay.
No worries at all. We are all very jealous that you're on the beach. So I'm going to start with you, Chin. So, baby, what you've done is beautifully embrace your food with how vocal and local you are. I want to know how it's been advocating local living with Zanu. How has she taken to it?
Like you said, they imbibe, and to create that from the start, connection, to understand where everything is coming from. I mean, when you say organic food, it doesn't make sense if it's blueberries from Holland,
correct.
Right? I mean, whatever good that went into growing those, you kind of lost it on the carbon miles coming here. However, I also don't advocate you need to deprive yourself, or if you like berries. I mean, that's the thing we need to encourage now in India is local people to make the stuff that we want to eat, whether it's good chocolate, good cheese. You don't need to be on a diet of khichdi to support local brands, support artisanal stuff. Don't go for big time, mass produced, mass packaged things to eat for your kids or for yourself. We spend most of our money on food. That is my splurge. I would rather buy good food than buy a bag. My kid sees us living this every day, and she sees us we're on the beach and there's an oil spill because they wash tankers in Goa every monsoon, and she can see what it's doing, and she's like, what happens to the fish? Like, if they have access to nature, they see it, they live in it. The problem is we're not looping them in, we're not keeping them connected, we're not showing them. We want to create this bubble life for them, but we can't protect them from the reality. So it's better that they have access to it and see what's happening around them.
Of course, because kids are known to be so curious. Are you creating a story around it, or are you telling her the facts?
I was trying to get her to say the Gayatri mantra. I'm not very religious, but I was just like feeling like that. And she refused to say it. And then I was like, don't you like to drink your milk every morning? So the cows eat the grass and the grass grows in the sun. So we're praying to the sun. And she kind of got that connection. And then I was like, don't you like honey? And she's like, yeah, of course. And now she knows that bees make honey from the pollen from flowers. And then someone has to go and collect that honey from you high up in the mountains. She eats very good honey most of the time, you know. It's these stories which are not, like, they're not fairy tales, they're real. But which kind of create the magic in creating these connections with your food, with explaining to them. It doesn't have to be like cut and dried, boring stuff. You know, that's the thing of like, they get excited about things like this too.
Yeah, I guess it's not just like eat your vegetables is good for you. Like everything has a story and that's how you're connected to, you know, your planet and your environment. Okay, thank you so much, Chinu. My next question is for Riddhi. Hello, Riddhi.
Hi, Alia. Thank you so much for organizing this. It's a beautiful place and getting to learn so much.
No, not at all. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so Riddhi, from you, I want to know, what are your top 5 tips for parenting in the midst of a pandemic? So basically, the last 2 years have just been the unprecedented times. It's been very strange, and especially one of the top conversations that we're constantly having is what children must be going through growing up in a time like this. So I'm really curious to know from you that how you think that's affected parenting styles across the board. But just share with us your journey and a few tips.
So thank you for the question. What I feel like my tips would actually be the same, be the pandemic or without the pandemic. So I feel that as parents, it's so important for us to educate ourselves. So let's say if your child is pooping and the color of the poop changes, you have a tendency to blame yourself that what did I eat wrong that the color suddenly changed. The second thing that I would actually recommend parents to do is to not over-manage their kids. It's called helicopter parenting. So you're constantly hovering around your child like a helicopter and you're managing what they eat, when they sleep, when they wake up. And now we are so particular about the language that they speak. Like, you know, speaking English has become so important. So I feel that it's very important that we give them the space that they deserve. So it's important to manage, but not over-manage. Just like seeds, you know, like kids are like seeds. You give them the right amount of water, it's going to germinate beautifully. But if you over-water it, it's actually not going to germinate and it's not going to be as beautiful as it is supposed to be. Third would be overprotecting. And when I mean overprotecting, it's very different from managing. Managing is like, you know, you're taking in charge because we have like, you know, such big hearts, especially mothers. We have this tendency of rescuing them emotionally. So if our child is actually failing at something, we want to rescue them. We want to make them feel that kuch nahi hua beta, it's okay. You know, maybe the question was very difficult and that's why you didn't do that well in exam. So we're actually emotionally rescuing them. I think that is something that we should avoid. It's important for us to let them go through those failures because that is what is so important for a child. Don't overindulge. When we were growing up, we didn't get a lot. And now we have this feeling that, you know, I'm going to give my child everything that I didn't get it. Also for us to understand that if we cannot provide those things to our children, there's no reason for us to feel guilty because our role as parents is actually to provide for their needs, you know, like clothing, food, shelter, basic good education. In fact, I'm of the philosophy that even if you can, you should try and not overdo it. And the fifth would be to understand that, you know, parenting is a lifelong journey. It's not ending anytime soon. Like we still need our parents also still need their parents, and your child is also going to need you because this world is so full of distractions. The only thing that can bring your child back to you are the beautiful memories that you can create for your child. Like if you ask a child, what are we made up of? You know, the 5 Panch Mahabhutas, like earth, water, fire, air and sky. Something we are never taught in the school. So I feel it's so important for us as parents to focus on things that, are really essential.
But thank you so much. I think I definitely learned a lot. Maybe I'm ready to have a child and inculcate these habits.
Yes.
Today has been quite a good lesson for me.
Right.
Okay, so Kavita, I'm going to come to you now. So
Hey.
Kavita, you are all about positive affirmations for kids. So I want to know from you, Kavita, what's the conscious living habit that you've tried to inculcate in your kids, and how have they taken to it? How have they responded?
I love this question. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me. So, positive affirmation is something I wasn't raised like that. That's why that was the first point for me, that my child should know this. Okay, whether she knows her ABC or not, but she should know that she's worthy, she's enough. I'm an unschooling mom, plus I'm a minimalist. So I try to be conscious every day, but I fail every day, and that's fine. But I teach my child by showing her that you don't need so much stuff to be happy. You don't need to go to school to learn. So she don't has to learn from books and people or screen. We learn every day from nature, and we follow conscious living by planting garden, and we make compost at home. That's how I'm showing her how to be conscious, how to be mindful, because my child also has intellectual disabilities, so being in nature has helped her so much.
Yeah, that's so nice, and you're absolutely right. Nature teaches you so much, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
We were just wondering if we have to ask Anandita, Jane, Rohini, your perspective on how are you raising more conscious children, and if you had to really take about 2 or 3 pledges, what would they be?
So I have a 4-year-old, and it's not easy to talk about environment, global warming, and all the technicalities of it. So there's a very simple way that I follow is lead by example. You're done watching the TV, turn it off. You're moving out of the room, turn off the lights. Don't waste too much water when you're bathing. Probably you could use a tub instead of, using a shower. One more thing that we effectively follow is growing things at home. It's subconsciously, it tunes in that you can't waste it. You put in so much effort to grow something. When we move out, he always has his bottle, we carry some straws. We always carry food along because otherwise he gets hungry and we'll have to buy something, and there's, packaging involved, and we have to figure out where to grow it. And these are, things that we do in everyday life. So imagine after 10 years, how far this could go.
Absolutely. So, that is the aim. Wow, I'm so happy that these things is here.
Right. Anandita, you want to go next?
I'll go next. Hi Alia, first of all.
Hello.
Hi Mansi, thank you so much for having me here. So firstly, like she said, we need to be a role model ourselves. Kids observe us. So we need to switch off the fan, save energy, save water. Secondly, we need to take them out. We need to take them in nature because, it helps them with their imagination, with their creativity. I've given him this responsibility of gardening. Now through gardening, what I feel, kids learn a lot about responsibility. Now another thing that we do is like whatever comes in our house, like all these packages and card, this junk and all these things. So now my son loves art. So now we convert everything into art, like all the boxes, parcels.
Super.
I let him paint it, everything is like, recyclable. We live in a joint family. So now everyone knows about conscious living, and that's what we teach our kids.
Guys, huge pat on the back to all the mums. We are not only taking responsibility of raising the children, but also raising really conscious and very, very aware children. So this is incredible.
Hi Alia again. Hi everyone. I guess going third, I'll just echo that, all of these small steps that we take really has a sort of impact on our children. Like what you said earlier is I also go back to when I was a child, what my grandparents did, what my parents did, that has now led to me living this. I mean, now it's a lifestyle. It was kind of life back in the day. Someone once said this, I cannot remember where I, learned it, but she said that in order for our children or us to fight for the planet, we need to first love the planet. It's about, early mornings at the beach, going out without, footwear. Sometimes partially with our clothes also, but a lot of people now have this thing, you need to wear shoes to go out. But I mean, being barefoot grounds us. So I think for me, it's like getting my children to love nature. A friend once said that, Jane, you don't know where your steps are going to inspire others and what they will do. Like, my child could potentially change the world.
100%. I love your barefoot stories, by the way. I think there's nothing more satisfying than literally running on the grass barefoot.
100%, Jane. I think, and don't ever question the little that we're doing, because like your friend said, that you never know the ripple effect and what it's going to lead to, right? So let's not question the good that we're doing. Deepali and Aditi, if you guys want to add in.
Hi everyone, can I go first?
Yep.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here today. So I have a 4-year-old and I inculcate habits of knowing our world around us by very simple methods. I am an avid gardener. I have a very small house, but I have a potted garden. So I started gardening with my kid when she was just 18 months old. So she just started walking and I had this little watering can for her, and she used to enjoy sprinkling water all over the plants. So that is where we started. Today at 4 years old, she knows basics of photosynthesis, how the food comes in. She can repot plants. And it was not a decision of me, to inspire or to talk about it with other people, but to inculcate certain habits in my daughter. I have these jhola bags for her. When she goes out, she sees me that I buy vegetables in a cotton bag. So we are in a joint family. She keeps telling everybody, do not use plastic bag. It's bad for Mother Nature. So that's the one she uses.
Okay.
And for me, another very important thing to teach a child is not overindulge in anything. It's not necessary to get everything and anything they demand on the table. Little bit every day makes a huge pile of, goodness. So that is what I believe in.
Lovely.
100%. Deepali.
Hi Alia, hi Mansi,
hi
Jane. Right, no, so I'm very inspired actually to hear all the moms, and it's so good to see everyone doing so much. With my children, we always wrap presents with newspaper, and those 4.5 minutes that it takes to wrap the present is our talk about that invisible string that's tying them to a tree in the forest. We've got a little backyard like all mums here, with growing our little greens, our herbs. So when grandma has a tummy ache, my 4-year-old goes, plucks out ajwain ka patta and steeps it and gives it to her. They're realizing how much nature is helping them. I think this is something if they carry on with them.
Alia, you've heard a lot from us. Now we need to hear what are your questions.
Yes, I do have more questions, and I'm loving the how connected everyone is. One may not necessarily know everybody over here, but everyone is still so connected in their ideologies and their thoughts, which is why we're here today. Okay, so I'm going to ask my next question to Kerry. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, Alia.
So, Kerry, I love watching you and your girls running around in nature. I think it's too adorable. And I really think it's an amazing way to create an appreciation for our planet. So what I want to know from you is, do you think that your adventures have helped your kids be more conscious?
Yeah, so I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we spend a lot of time outside. I always feel like every time we take a hike or we go outside, I have 2 analogies that run through my mind, and they're really similar. But one is that nature just feels like it's a sponge for kind of absorbing any negative emotions. And it just feels like they might be grumpy, they might be challenging, or I might be grumpy or challenging. And it just really feels like it kind of soaks up anything negative. The other analogy is just it feels like a magnet for any negativity. It's kind of pulling out anything. I feel that if we go for a hike, we really come out like an hour or 2 hours later as different people. I've also seen them go from being afraid of bugs and spiders and crabs to being the kids that will pick up a crab and bring it over to you, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, can you put that away? We had this huge, we're living in the forest right now. We had a huge tarantula inside the house at midnight the other night. Yeah, the size of my hand. And I was like, panicked. I didn't know how to handle it. And the next day, when I showed pictures of it to my daughter, she cried, not because she was afraid of this tarantula, but because she was really upset that I didn't wake her up to show it to her.
Oh, that's so cute.
So it's like there's this fearlessness that I've seen come through for them, which is amazing.
That's so interesting. Thank you so much, Kerry. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. There's so many inspiring just ideas coming from all of the...
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all start we can make a joint book together. Okay, my next question is for Shubhreet. So Shubhreet, I don't follow it in my life, but I truly appreciate and I find it extremely fascinating of your funda of own less and wear more. I want to know, minimalism has come up a lot actually in today's conversation, but I want to know what's the journey of minimalism? What's the journey of minimalism been like for you? And just curious to know what got you started on it.
Hi Alia, first of all, really nice to be here and thank you so much for hosting this. So my first daughter Karma was born in Singapore, and this culture of blessing a lot, which essentially is a concept very similar to pass it on and very related to things that are, baby related or mother related, and it doesn't span across income brackets. It's just what they believe in, that why would you want to buy everything new when things are in perfectly good condition. And that's something I picked up over there, and then I started practicing it here. And even after my second daughter was born, a lot of the things that I had passed on to my friends when they were having babies, even things like pots, stroller, came back for my second daughter. But by then all my friends were done having babies. So then it passed on to my followers who were pregnant, and I just gave all of the stuff or just sent it all off because it doesn't make sense to keep accumulating more and hoarding more for things that you are going to use for a year or two. And my only condition there, which again was part of the blessing system in Singapore, was do not sell it, pass it on to the next person. The UN Environment Program will tell you that fashion industry is the second largest consumer of water. Everyone's sitting over here. How many jeans would everyone own per person? I know most people own 7 to 10. It takes 7,500 liters of water to make one pair of jeans.
Yeah.
Somehow clothes is also a very big factor over here. And that's when I started decluttering often. I started buying things that go with each other, tops and bottoms that go with each other, basics, essentials and classic that can work very well, that look very slick, look very fashionable. But now I'm still not where I want to be. I would love a capsule wardrobe. I'm far from it, but I think my wardrobe is probably like a fourth of what most people's wardrobe are. And I've never felt something is missing in terms of what I wear, how fashionable I look. It's not affected my style in any way, but it's made my life mentally and physically more decluttered. And that's something that I picked up in Copenhagen after I've just been trying to get better at it. So I've got a practice of every 6 to 12 months decluttering and donating. And then when your kids see you doing that, they pick it up too. My kids don't have huge wardrobes as well. I still want to reduce it further. I think I'll get there eventually.
That is so inspiring. I guess I really relate with definitely passing your clothes on as opposed to just getting rid of it. One day even I sat and asked myself that question that, okay, where are these clothes going? And then I realized that they were going into landfills and creating so much harm to the environment. And that's when I started this wardrobe sharing initiative where I just share my wardrobe with the people and they get to buy it. But this capsule wardrobe, I don't know how I'll be able to have. I don't know. I think that is too inspiring. If I get there, then I will really be proud of myself.
No, I'm with you on it. Even I don't think I'm ever going to get to a capsule wardrobe. I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm if I keep attempting to go there, at least I will keep structuring it better and better.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts on that. Sonika, I'm going to come to you. We've been talking so much about conscious living, and we'd all love to know your journey with sustainable parenting.
We started with living a sustainable lifestyle after my son was born.
I just thought that, if I don't use a plastic bag, I'm doing enough. And it was so strange that once my son was born, like Shubhreet said, we got a lot of stuff from friends because my friends had babies like a year or two earlier. My son is almost 3 now, and I think I would have hardly bought any clothes for him. Everything has just, been passed on. We have now come to a point where we do not have any dustbins in our house. We don't trash anything. So it's all, we compost at home, and we segregate all our dry waste and send it to a recycler. And my son is so used to all of this because he thinks this is the way to live. This is regular life. He loves to collect maggots. By the way, he's not afraid of them. So I just think for me, the whole thing has been to involve him in everything and just make it normal. He actually spends a lot of time with our society gardeners. So he calls them green uncles. So the green uncles are his favorite, and they are such amazing guys.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
So also because they wear a green uniform, so they are green uncles. So every day he goes and hangs with them. He's been picking up earthworms and snails and all those things and saying, do you want earthworms for your compost? I think I just involve him in everything, let him have fun.
So amazing. It's so inspiring. All the things that you just said, like, amazing.
Alia, to your question that while they're young, they're all going to do this and they're super inspired. So my kids are much older. They're 12 and 9. And I must say that, I just introduced, after I read Ariana Huffington's hashtag called repeats, because she repeats her clothes very often. And I started using that. My daughter's reached a point where she literally wears, and I think the pandemic's accelerated that. कि जो सबसे ऊपर है वही, so literally like she has a uniform every alternate day she's wearing that. And I think the concept of not having the fear of being mocked at, that why you repeat your clothes so often, has kind of just made it so seamless. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's here. There's just so much to learn, and thank you for sharing all your time and coming on a Sunday afternoon. And Alia, for you, for making making conscious living, making sustainable living, we need people like you to, who are icons, to kind of be at the forefront. So when they reach that 12, 13, 14 impressionable ages, they're not scared to deviate from the paths that we've nurtured them with, right? So really, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you, Alia, for initiating this.
No, not at all. Honestly speaking, to me, like, you guys are icons. I think I've learned so much from all of you today. It's literally been like crash course in sustainability, and I'm so excited of what lies ahead for all of us as we work together as a society to make the world a better place, a kinder place, a happier place, a safer place, and a greener place. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you for taking the time out for me. Please give your kids a big hug from me. I hope I didn't keep you too long. Take care, lots of love, please stay safe, and I hope I get to see you guys in person someday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.